recovering from your vacation, from your spring break, or your family spring break. So welcome back to the real world. And then, of course, many of the private schools are on spring break this week. So we're missing some key folks, and we hate that for sure. But welcome to Franklin Tomorrow's Frank Talks, March 17th. I'm Mindy Tate, CEO of Franklin Tomorrow, and this is a big week for us, and we are excited that you have taken the time to join us here in the Heritage Room, thanks to the factory at Franklin. It's very nice. Alan Arnder helped me carry my stuff in. It's not often you get the chief guy to just help you carry everything in. That was pretty nice. So great. Nancy Conway is going to come up and do our Did You Know question. I will tell you, we have a little gift from Franklin Tomorrow, a notebook, but we also have the chance for the recipient, the winner of this contest, for some tickets for Nashville soccer. So it is going to require you to raise your hand. Do not scream it out. Raise your hand so that we can make sure we do this fairly. So, Nancy, here you go.
No, please go. Right there. I missed him.
Good morning, everyone. I just asked her where Doug, guest speaker, was because he's going to keep me straight with this information. But as you know, we have a quiz question when possible, and the quiz question must be answered correctly, and the first person that answers it correctly, raise your hand. Mindy, Emily will be on the lookout to call on you. But this one is a trick question because it doesn't have just one little short answer. So, with that said, okay, we are considering things regarding BNA, our Nashville Airport, which is, absolutely fantastic, as you will hear more about. But about 1950 was when things started with a commercial hangar being built and operating, and then we started with passengers. She says I'm not sticking it in the microphone. Sorry, it fell down. But anyway, on to the quiz question. I'm going to try to look around and see if there are any hands waving in the air. Okay. What airline carriers were the first to serve Nashville?
Sam, what's it?
American Airlines.
No.
Well, that's only part of it, Sam. What?
There are two airlines. Anybody else?
Eastern.
Correct. American Airlines, Eastern Airlines. This is your winner, Emily. Right here, behind you.
We'll figure it out between the two.
Thank you.
So, does anybody know what the B or who was behind creating the Nashville Airport when it started? Who led the charge over here?
Sure.
Berry. And his name, interestingly enough, was Harry Berry. And he had been active in World War II. Is that right, Nancy, what we discovered the other day? He led the efforts to create an airport there. But I thought Harry Berry, what did his parents think when they did that to him? Sometimes I just don't know. But we'll figure out those soccer tickets, Sam and David, and appreciate the answers this morning. So we cannot do what we do without the great support of our partners. We have some sustaining partners who are recognized now, who are with us for all of our events, and including Atmos Energy. They are a great partner in our community and do a lot of things for nonprofits as well as for the community. So thank you. I don't think Christina is here this morning. Reagan Smith, which is a Paige Dawson company, Alan Thompson, Scotty Burnick, wonderful to work with. And then finally, Williamson Health, one of our sustaining partners, and I'll have Greg come up, and we have a video, and Emily's going to tell me what to do about that.
Good morning. On behalf of the 2,300 employees of Williamson Health, which across 30 locations here in Williamson County, including Williamson Medical Center, Williamson Health Medical Group, Bowen and Joint Institute, and our fabulous EMS department, I'm delighted to be here with you. We've got a little video we're going to take a look at about our highly skilled surgeons at Williamson Health. Let's take a look.
I think there's a lot of reasons people would want to have surgery at Williamson Health. One of the first things people notice is that they're not treated like a number here.
General surgeon is a surgeon who specializes in a wide range of surgical specialties, including breast cancer, colon cancer, skin cancer. We also treat hernias, gallbladder disease, acute issues like appendectomies or appendicitis, really anything within the abdomen or soft tissue.
So robotics at Williamson Health has really grown lately, grown almost double, triple in size in the last few years. It allows us to do extremely high-tech operations in the abdomen with very small incisions. Not autonomic surgery where AI is doing the surgery. We control everything.
Much better view, much better dexterity, much better ability to see and do fine detailed work. For the patient, I think what it really means is safer surgery, quicker recovery, less post-op pain, and overall better outcome.
We spend a lot of time face-to-face with patients, and then our surgeons always come in behind us and do the same. Make sure that they've established a relationship with the patient before we take them to the OR. And really the most important thing to all of us is making sure that the patient understands what is going on with your body.
When you walk into a room with a general surgeon, it's not only you need surgery, I'm taking something out immediately. It's we're going to talk to you about this, we're going to do a step-by-step plan and making sure that you feel comfortable and safe before we do anything.
We have some of the best surgeons that I've ever met in one of the best locations in terms of accessibility and in terms of the staff in the OR, out of the OR, afterwards, on the floor.
I think it's a real special privilege to get to work in the community in which you live. You're taking care of your neighbors, your friends, your family. It really helps us provide personalized care for our patients because we know them, we work with them, they teach our children, they take care of our family.
Anyone that you encounter that's part of the surgery service, whether that's the surgeon themselves, whether it's one of us, the anesthesia team, or any of the nurses that are involved in both your preoperative and postoperative care, you're in excellent hands. And I'm confident enough in that I would put my own care in their hands too.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, and thank you, Williamson Health. I got the joy of going by ambulance a couple weeks ago to the ER. Really fun, a great new facility. The ER is really pretty, and so I was really excited about that. Yeah, really excited. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do. So thanks so much. And then finally, our final partner, our presenting partner is Renaissance Bank and Diane LeBlanc. Come on up and talk about something y'all have going on. And you're going to help us with those tickets, right? All right. No,
Oh, yes, for sure. We'll make sure both winners are taken care of. And if you're a soccer fan, you know that yesterday was a big win for our team. And we beat the #1 team, 3-1, Philadelphia Union. So it's going to be a great game this Saturday. So I'd love to give 2 tickets to each of you for this Saturday. If that doesn't work, we'll work on a future game. But thanks, Mindy, and thanks for allowing Renaissance Bank to partner with Franklin Tomorrow. We absolutely love the partnership and what Franklin Tomorrow is doing in our community. With Renaissance, being over 120 years old, we know how important small businesses are in our community. And we wanted to share just a little bit about what our group out of Tupelo is doing upcoming for small businesses. And you'll see, I'll leave some of these flyers on the table over here, but just wanted to see if you know a small business owner, if you are a small business owner, we are hosting an entrepreneurial success series, small business capacity building program, and there's a program that's going to be here in Tennessee from July 16 to August 20, and it is going to help build and give more knowledge to small business owners. We know how things can get difficult for small business owners trying to juggle and manage all aspects of it. So we wanted to share a little bit about some success stories, but also help those small business owners. So if you know someone that might benefit from this program, please reach out to us. I've got Harrison Crabtree, our Williamson County president up here, Tina Anderson, who is our branch manager at our Franklin office. So we'd love to give you a little more information, but there is a reason to participate if you know someone. Everyone that participates are eligible for a $2,500 grant upon completion of the program. So well worth their time and hopefully benefit to participate in this program. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much. All right, thanks Diane, thanks Ms. All for your support. We had coffee this morning. I know some people gave caffeine up for Lent, so it was a tough day, but no decaf today. But thank you to Lion Leadership Group, our local McDonald's franchisee, for what they do for our events and many others. So we've been talking about it a little bit. This is 2025 is the 25th anniversary of the founding of Franklin Tomorrow by a group of business and community leaders who understood that what made Franklin special in 2000 needed to be available for future generations. And we are so proud, and you can see in the background many of the faces who have helped and participated. But I also know there are a lot of past board members or founding members in the room. And if you're a board member or a past board member, raise your hand. And thank you so much for your service to Franklin Tomorrow over the last 25 years. I was a board member first before I joined the organization. But I'd like to ask State Senator Jack Johnson to come forward along with Julian Bibb and Peggy Kidd, our current board chair, please.
But
Yeah. Can read and be. Mike.
Well, I remember back in 2006 when I first got elected to represent this amazing county in the Tennessee State Senate. I very quickly learned about Franklin Tomorrow. I did not have a depth of understanding about the importance of this organization, but I can tell you in the last almost 20 years that I've served in the State Senate, I've come to fully appreciate how important Franklin Tomorrow is to our community. And as such, I think it's entirely appropriate that the Tennessee General Assembly passed a resolution to commemorate the 25th anniversary of this. I'm going to have you hold that there. You're just trying to follow because I'm going to try to read this. I don't know if I'll read it all, but I do have a resolution that we've passed through the Tennessee General Assembly, signed by Governor Bill Lee, to honor this very, very special occasion. I'm going to read a little bit of it here, if I may. A resolution to honor Franklin Tomorrow on the occasion of its 25th anniversary. Whereas we take great pride in specially recognizing those community organizations that work to improve the quality of life of their residents in the great state of Tennessee. And whereas one such exemplary community organization is Franklin Tomorrow, which has played an essential role in making Franklin a great place to live, work, and play for the last 25 years. And whereas the charter of Franklin Tomorrow was signed on March 20th, 2000 by a small group of leaders, which included Julian Bibb, Dick Gigi, Mike Alday, and Gail Moyer Harris, who recognized that something needed to be done to ensure that the future of this city would be as rich as its past. And whereas Franklin Tomorrow presents information programs that allow the community to be engaged and informed about the challenges that face Franklin, as well as the positive things happening in the community. These programs include Frank Talks, a monthly lecture series, and Breakfast with the Mayors, a quarterly lecture series. And whereas Franklin Tomorrow has created many new initiatives and organizations to enhance Franklin, including the custom historic Franklin license plate, which has generated revenue for the organization and created a sense of civic pride. And whereas in 2025, Franklin Tomorrow continues its work to gather citizen input and engagement by participating in the National Civic League's Healthy Democracy Project. And whereas it is appropriate that we acknowledge such an outstanding community endeavor on this special occasion, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the House of Representatives concurring, that we recognize and honor Franklin Tomorrow on the occasion of its 25th anniversary, applauding its many contributions to the Franklin community and extending our very best wishes for much continued success in all future endeavors. Signed, Governor Bill Lee.
That was cool.
What got you started, Julian? Just brief. I mean, 5 seconds.
You're in trouble when you put a lawyer in front of a microphone. Well, it was quite an effort 25 years ago, and so many people in this community came together to, just as Jack said, see the future of Franklin as we were beginning to experience unprecedented growth. And how did we want this wonderful community of ours to sustain itself? What did we want it to look like in the future? I'm so glad to have been lined up with so many people who helped drive this process. It was community driven. It affected all of the community with 8 or 9 public meetings and lots of public input, and we developed a great format for the future of Franklin Tomorrow. Thank you, Mindy. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We're going to continue celebrating this week on Thursday. We have our Founders Day breakfast, 7:30 to 9 a.m. at the Harpeth Hotel in the restaurant there. You're welcome to join us. It will be a little more celebratory and a little more explaining how the past has become the present. And we're excited about that and would hope that you would join us for that event on Thursday. And we will be taking those reservations through the end of today or tomorrow. Save the New Date, our volunteer awards are coming up on March 24th. I know they were supposed to be February 19th, and then they became the 25th, and now they're the 24th. I love weather, I love change so much. It's my favorite thing, is not. So March 24th, that's a Monday at the Franklin Theater, 6 p.m. Doors open at 5 if you come. Atmos Energy is going to buy you a soda and some popcorn. So come on and join us. Some great awards and some wonderful recognitions on Monday, March 24th. So yeah, we tried to cram as many things as we could into a 2-week period, and that included this event. Many of you took our Healthy Democracy survey starting in January, project we're doing with the National Civic League and the Bridge Alliance, City of Franklin. Many of you took the survey. On April 2nd, from 5 to 7 at the West County Public Library, we will unveil those results, and we will do kind of a table discussion like we did several years ago, like our on the table discussion. Come and talk with your neighbors about the results and how you feel about that. We're going to feed you dinner. Don't worry, we're going to feed you. That always helps. But 5 to 7, you'll see some more about this. This is the unveiling of this today, but that's Tuesday, April 2nd. And actually, I think Tuesday is April 2nd is a Wednesday, I think, not a Tuesday. What that says, it's Wednesday. Good Lord, dates are killing me. Doug Crewin is, he's flying the plane from here on out. Thank goodness that he's going to take off and land safely with so many years of experience. And the amazing things, who flew through the Nashville airport last week for spring break? Raise those hands. Yeah, a few of you. So we are excited to hear about what's happening, and maybe it'll help us know which exit to get off of Interstate 40 when you go to get on a plane or pick someone up. Doug Crewin, thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Doug.
Is this one on? Okay, thank you. Thank you all very much for this invitation. It's a pleasure. I'm listening to this in the 25th anniversary, and I consider myself blessed. So I'm a Williamson County Franklin resident, and in a week or two, it'll be my 13th anniversary living in this beautiful town and county. And so I'm honored that you haven't kicked me out yet. And so I want to tell you what we've been doing at the Nashville International Airport, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you have as we go through. So a lot of things have changed, and here's what's just changed in the last 5 years. In the March time period of 2020, right before a pandemic, we had the big tornado, and the airport authority manages 2 airports, the Nashville International Airport and John Tune. Well, at the John Tune Airport, we lost 91 aircraft shortly after midnight, and we've since rebuilt all those hangars, and all those hangars have been re-rented. Back in that time period when the pandemic started, we were averaging 50,000 people a day. Today we're at 70,000 people a day, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But when the pandemic hit, you can see what a diet we went on, from 50,000 people a day to 545 going through the airport. So we did some serious budget cutting to stay ahead, but we were blessed by the Board of Commissioners to keep pressing on with the construction programs that we have. So we finished B&A Vision 1 and 2, a little over $1.5 billion, and we're in New Horizon program, and I'll show you what that entails there. What we're most proud of is, as Franklin has grown and Williamson County has grown, is we've been able to keep up with the growth of Tennessee, and we think we're finally ahead of that. But back in the day, 5 years ago, B&A was the 31st biggest airport in the United States. Today we're the 28th biggest airport in the United States. If you're in the top 30, you're considered a large hub. So Atlanta's number 1, and we're number 28. My bet is that we'll be number 27 or 26 because our growth has been outpacing the airports that have been right in front of us there. But the FAA runs about a year behind on their statistics, so it should come up soon. But this year, by June 30th of this year, we should go north of 25 million passengers, probably 25.1. If we have a really good spring break, it'll get us to the 294,000. We've grown a lot, as the question on when was the first hangar built, what were the first airlines coming in. I wanted to show you this as a perspective. In that time period, from the time that the Colonel Harry Berry started developing the Nashville International Airport and the city of Nashville took it over, we were very small, and we were a department of the city. In 1970, we became an airport authority. And you can see back in 1970, we only did $2 million in revenue. They had a bill of about $1.6 million to pay, but they had a debt service of $294. So their net was only $600,000, and they had a $2.9 million bond payment. They decided to create an airport authority, so it came off of the books of the Nashville city government. And since 1970, we've been an airport authority. So for almost 55 years, we've been operating like a business. These are my actual performance metrics that are on my evaluation this year, is we have to generate about $350 million. It costs $200 million to run the airport, and everybody looks at that and goes, wow, that's $150 million extra. Well, when you borrow $1 billion, you owe $105 million payment each year, and that's going to continue to grow up as we continue to borrow money. But the beauty is, you can see from 1970 to where we're at today, and then where we're headed, we're going to talk about that. The state of Tennessee and all 95 counties fly out of the Nashville International Airport, and we'll talk about that. But what that airport generates in terms of economic impact is a little over $12 billion. We're going to $14 billion within the next 5 years, but out there, the Nashville International Airport has 4,600 acres. And on that 4,600 acres, we employ there's 76,000 jobs that are related to that airport. John Toon's a little bit smaller than 4,600, holds about 300 acres, but there's over 1,000 jobs that are generated out of that airport. But our economic impact is continuing to grow. All the business activity, the different hangars and operators that fix and fly and feed the things that go on out there at that airport support over 76,000 jobs, what we talked about. But they also generate on an annual basis about $600 million of state taxes and a little over $100 million to city and local taxes. When you see the additional changes in the blue, it's basically showing you we're continuing to get bigger. For us, it's all about not so much as the airlines. The airlines are continuing to grow, but the gates. So today we're at 54 gates. We're going to go to 70 gates here by 2018, and our non-stops are continuing to grow, and I'll present that here in just a second. So we're doubling every 10 years. If you go back from 25, we were doing a little over 31,000 people a day in 2015. Today we're doing over 70,000 people a day. And I'm glad that you brought up Geodis and the soccer team. So that soccer stadium holds 30,000 people. We hold 2.5 soccer games every day, 365 days a year. If you looked at the Predators, the Nissan Stadium holds 69,000, and the Titans play maybe 12 games a year out of the stadium. We hold a Titans game every day of the year, 365 days. So that's how busy it is. Now, sometimes we go greater than 70,000. 70,000 will be our annual average. So spring break at times, fall break is even bigger than spring break. Sometimes we'll have more than 100,000 people go through in a single day. So be patient. We'll talk about the exits that you have to get out on, but I get told I'm number one all the time on the roads, and even getting honked at, here and there. What's that? It might have been Mindy. I'm not sure if it was her or not. When you look at that, a big picture wise, you're looking at 802 aircraft are coming in and out of the airport every day. About 650 of those airlines or aircraft are commercial airports. So those are flown by those 19 airlines, but there's 150 or so corporate jets coming in and out of Nashville that make up that 800. But if you look at 800 jets a day coming in, about 1 minute and 48 seconds, 24 hours a day, somebody's taking off or landing there. We have more than one runway, so sometimes that's concentrated within seconds between the different alternating runways, but it's continuing to grow. You're going to see it continue to grow with Southwest announcing a crew base. What that has meant for us, and I'll show you when you see Concourse D in a second, but before they announced they were going to become a crew base in Tennessee, we had 250 airline pilots. Today we have 750 airline pilots for just one airline. Southwest, we had 750 flight attendants. We're growing to north of 3,000 flight attendants. Southwest has been doing making some business decisions that change how it operates around the United States, and all of that has been benefiting Nashville, Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee, because we're a cost-effective, very efficient airport for them to come in. It's easier for them to make money. So there's the 95 counties, and it shows you where the passengers are coming from, but somebody in all 95 counties flies out of the B&A on an annual basis. So you hear me talk a little bit about 25 million passengers. We're north of 20 million of those passengers are from Tennessee, but we are very nice to people from Kentucky, except during the SEC basketball game. But We get a little over 3 million people commuting to the Nashville airport every year from Kentucky, and we get about 1 million people coming from Alabama that are flying out of this airport. They come here because we offer more nonstops, cheaper flights, and better service than what they can get. But Louisville and Lexington send us a lot of people, as does Huntsville, Alabama, sends us a bunch of people. Davidson County is the largest county providing passengers here. This is just a breakdown of the 35% if you only look at Tennessee travelers, but if you look at across everything, they're 29%, but Williamson's right there at number 2, and Rutherford's continuing to grow, Wilson County's continuing to grow. So Williamson, we depend on providing you with good service. So we've been doing a little bit of developing, and that's my budget now. So if we were going to give ourselves check marks for B&A Vision 1 and 2, all those projects have been completed. We're on what we consider the air side, so we will spend this amount of money before 2028 ends up. And then we already have a board approval on the land side operation, and we're working and show you what we're going to do with this amount of money. But $4.492 billion is our capital improvement budget, and basically that's in our 10-year financial forecast that we can continue to make the debt service payments that we need, continue to be what would be considered low to medium cost airport for the airlines to come in and out of. And that'll mean something. I'll talk about cost per enplanement when we get to our air service. So that's what we've completed. The blue is B&A Vision 1 and the yellow is B&A Vision 2. We accelerated once we got into the pandemic to try to complete as much of this as possible. And then this is what we're working on now. If you have the opportunity, Concourse D extension is going to open up on July 2nd. We're going to have an event out there on the night of July 1st, but that concourse will show you, we'll talk about Southwest. Everything as we've continued to grow at the airport, we've continued to do new forecasts, to do new planning type documents, but when we started B&A Vision 1, we wanted to go to 30 million passengers. As we looked into B&A Vision 2, we said, boy, we don't think we're big enough. And so we went to 35 million passengers. Now with New Horizon, everything that's being designed and built for Nashville International Airport is going to be built to 40 million passengers. We're at 25 today. By the time we get to 2028, we'll be at 28 million. And we think between 28 and 38 will grow if everything keeps looking great for the state. Will be in that time period, and that'll mean something in just a second here. But Concourse D adds 5 gates, baggage handling system, 40 million passengers. You have to be able to move 40 million bags, or 1.5 bags per person. So it's actually a little more than 40 million bags through the airport. The ramp, I'm going to show you what we're doing for Southwest and the other airlines there, and then the new one. The day after Concourse D opens, July 2nd it opens, July 3rd, or within plus or minus a week, we'll close the Concourse A that you know, and then start demoing it and build it back twice as big. So here's what is New Horizon 1, $287 million. That is coming in significantly under budget. And we will be moving some of that money down here to the central ramp. As soon as Concourse D opens, we will close the old Concourse A, demolish it, and then we have been building rock and earth up here to build new ramp for this concourse for a couple of years. And then the baggage handling system will be upgraded to be able to go from 25 million passengers today to 40 million, and then we're going to talk about this ramp here in just a little bit. So Concourse D opens up. It's going to have 7 new or 8 new food and beverages and news and gifts combined. And you'll notice right down here on the bottom is the Geodis, or the Nashville Soccer Club. So already the Titans have a restaurant inside, the Predators have a restaurant inside, and when Concourse D opens up here in a couple days, or 107 days, then it will have a Nashville Soccer Club restaurant called The Castle. Should be very nice. This will have our first, this is a circular node here, and in the middle of that circular node will be a martini bar, coffee shop type thing. Across from the from the soccer club will be a Mexican restaurant, and this will have the first outdoor lounge. So you can go and be on Concourse D and have a beverage and walk out to the outdoors, and nobody likes my joke, but man, the smell of that jet fuel and that noise, that's really good. But you can sit out there and just totally appreciate what's going on. And the nice thing about where that concourse is located is you are gonna see jets moving as fast as you can, because that's the corner of Southwest. And so they have 20 gates with us today, and they'll use those 20 gates on average 8 times a day. When a jet arrives from Southwest, within 45 minutes, it's cleaned, fueled, loaded, and most likely gone. So that's a great place at that lounge to watch their activity. And then Concourse A. So Concourse A, which down in the bottom right corner here, when you got off on exit 216A, the primary exit to the airport, you saw us over the last 2 years, we have been raising the ground from that exit 95 feet. Took 75,000 dump trucks to do that, and what they're doing now is putting a concrete cap on top of that, so that this will be a dogleg concourse, very much like Concourse C. This one today, Concourse A, goes out and dead ends about right there, and it'll turn dogleg to the left to be able to, and the reason we built all this ramp over here is so you can load that concourse with jets from both sides. Before Concourse A, you could only load it from a single side. So we'll go from 6 gates to 16 gates, and that'll be the big jump from 54 gates to 70 gates by 2028 when that opens. It's gonna have a beautiful interior, high ceilings, large food court, 40 or 50 feet in height there. And then on top of the food court area, there's a new lounge coming. If you're an American Airlines passenger, you know you can go to the Admirals Club on C Concourse. That'll eventually close. It's 7,000 square feet. This new one will be 21,000 square feet for their guests. Delta sort of got it started at 3,000 square feet. They went to 15. Now American's small, and they'll be catching up here by 2028. A lot of people ask me about the Nashville airport is the Fitbit airport. How come my gate is always the farthest away? My wife and I came back from a wedding last weekend, and we were at the farthest gate on C. When those concourses were designed back in the day, they were designed by American Airlines, who built that last concourse, but they were designed for traffic that's not how Tennessee and Nashville operate anymore. Back in the day, in '87, before American Airlines left us, only 20% of the passengers originated from Nashville. 80% of the passengers were just going from one side of the airport to the other to get a connecting flight. Today, 85% of that traffic originates out of here or is a destination. We only have about 15%. It's going to grow over time to 20%, but that's why the roads are too small. The roads were built for people just to not to fly into Nashville, but not come into Nashville or not come to Franklin, just go across one side of the concourse to another to get to Pittsburgh or wherever you wanted to go. Now Tennessee is the destination. And so the roads that were built for one type of airport, that's why we're expanding today and I'll show you the road work we're doing. Boom. Okay, if it's in blue, it's our partnership with the Tennessee Department of Transportation. So you can see where it goes from green to red right here. So TDOT Donaldson Pike is a state road. In order to move Donaldson Pike, you have to have participation from the state. So TDOT is moving Donaldson Pike a couple hundred yards closer to our eastern runway. The reason they're doing that is so that we can build a bigger racetrack. And where you see TDOT, we're playing leapfrog with each other, where when they got to the halfway point on the Donaldson Pike relocation, they connected to the old Donaldson Pike, and we've been in here demoing everything behind it. And by May, TDOT's gonna open up the blue, and then we're gonna get in here in the red and demo everything that exists right there. And the reason we're doing it is we're not trying to get into NASCAR, but we're sort of getting into NASCAR. So when Mindy went by and told me I'm number one the other day, we have a 1 mile oval that's 2 lanes wide. When we finish, the reason the Donaldson Pike moved is we will have a 2 mile oval that's 6 lanes wide. And so it will be able to handle 40 million passengers arriving and departing the airport. We've done some wonderful computer models that show us how the traffic arrives and depart. And we have 2 hiccups that we'll work with TDOT in the next couple of years to solve. Is if you want to come in and go to the departures, get off on 216A. If not, get off on 216B and come into the other places. But at 30 some million, there'll be so much traffic getting off of 40, trying to get off at the airport. If we don't widen that exit on the federal side of the house, it'll start backing up on I-40. And then as we go through 35 million, this will be, as they're trying to leave, they'll get backed up because they have to make a decision, Nashville or Knoxville. And so we're working with TDOT to make a new, we call it the Swan, it's sort of bent around there. But that'll improve the flow and allow people to get on and off. Very good partners with TDOT. They're on track. We actually worked with TDOT to pay $6 million to the contractor to finish a year earlier. So when they finish in May, that was worth every dime we spent, so we can get into the red area and start demoing all that. So where are we going long term? Long term wise, the state of Tennessee would love to go to Japan nonstop, Asia nonstop. And the reason being, over 200 Japanese companies are inside Tennessee today. 56,000 Tennesseans work for Japanese companies. And the 3 north-south runways that we have are 4,500 or 8,000 feet long. It's easy to make it to Europe at 4,500 miles. But you want to go 7,000 miles to Asia, you got to have, it'll be a bigger plane, it'll weigh more, you'll have to take more gas with you to make sure you get all the way there. And so you need a longer runway to be able to do that. We think we know which runway, 2 left, 20 right is the one. The FAA is still studying it. What we're hoping to hear real quickly is a runway length determination, and that'll tell us here's where the runway ends at the top of the screen. There's Murfreesboro Road. We'll have to lower Murfreesboro Road to put another tunnel in it, but it'll have to be lowered about 50 to 60 feet to be able to get that. But we'll figure that out. The goal is long term is to be able to connect Nashville, Tennessee with Asia. So it's 7,000 miles to Korea, it's 7,000 miles to Japan, it's a little over 9,000 miles if you want to go nonstop to Australia. And then here's the plan. So when I took over in late 17, the board said we didn't have a plan. We didn't have a way to know we were keeping up with growth. So we started in the 40 gate range. We're at 54 now. We're going to 70. That 70 gates will allow us to get to almost a 40 million passenger volume. But in order to go beyond 40 to 60 some million passengers in Nashville, we've got to start figuring out, okay, what happens after 2028? When do you think you'll get to 40 million passengers? Say 2038. Takes you 10 years to get there, but you've got to do a lot of work to get ready to build this. And you got to figure out how to pay for it too. We don't have that figured out yet. So today, B&A is on the 4,600 acres that we own. The commercial operations are on 400 acres where you see T1. And as we've studied this over the last 12 months, this area of our property, if we ask everybody there nicely to move to another place on the airport, we could repurpose that land to build T2, Terminal 2. Then that would allow Nashville to grow in leaps as it sees the ability. You can add by phase, if you will. Now, we already know where we think we'll move those people. All of our people will move right in this area. All of our general aviation friends will move up here north of Embry Air. And then all of our rental car folks will move off to the south of our property. And why are we doing it? Because of this. So this is today. This is a couple weeks from now. So we will hit another all-time high in August of this year at 114 nonstops. A couple days from now, we're gonna open up nonstop flights to Iceland and Ireland. But this is what's generating the requirement to continue to grow. At the 2028 time period, when we open up Concourse A and we go to 70 gates, I would anticipate that we'll be from 800 jets a day to 1,000 jets a day in terms of the volume to keep people moving. Here's the issue that we talked about on Japan. It's very easy for us to go 4,000 miles to Europe, but if you want to go to Korea or Japan, it's a little over almost 7,000 miles, I should say. 7,000 miles right there. If you have enough gas to get 4,500 miles, that puts you landing about right there. And nobody wants to swim the last 1,000 miles, so lengthening a runway makes sense to us. We put on Honolulu here because we are advocating nonstop. No pun intended. We're advocating all the time for service, and going nonstop to Honolulu makes a lot of sense because if you wanted to go to, well, one, it's a cool place and everybody would have fun at the vacations, but you can meet every airline from Asia in Honolulu. So you can meet Qantas from Australia, you can meet Korean Air, you can meet JAL or ANA from Japan there, and so hopefully one of these days we will figure that out. We are going to Reykjavik starting April 10th. We are going to Ireland starting April 12th. But look at where everybody's going. 555 people a day, passengers per day each way. 555 people go to Canada every day, and 555 come from Canada every day. You have about 750 people going to Europe, Middle East, or Africa every day, and 750 or so, or 700, going to Mexico, and a little over 200 and something going to Asia. And so when we look at this chart, we know why strategically the state of Tennessee wants to get to Asia. It makes a lot of sense. But we don't have a lot of arrows going down this way into Latin America and South America. We're going on a trip in May to Panama to talk to Copa Airlines, and then the 1st of June we're going to talk to KLM Airlines out of Amsterdam for additional service to Europe. But we're always hustling to try to convince airlines to come in here and provide better service to us. This is coming. Very, very successful right now. Iceland and Ireland, if you're looking to save $1 versus going through London, they consider themselves low-cost hubs to getting to Europe. So if you go to London and then you're going on to Rome, you might want to look Iceland to Rome or Dublin to Rome and find out that it might be a little bit cheaper for you. If you choose not to stay in Iceland or Ireland for a vacation, you might want to look at that. They also take you to smaller cities with only one stop versus you'd have to, not all the time can you get out of London to all these smaller cities throughout Europe. I've been blessed to be married for 44 years, and my wife will renew my contract in June if we go to Iceland or Ireland. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I feel a little bit of pressure right now. And then John Tune Airport, it is the second busiest general aviation airport in the state of Tennessee. Smyrna does just a little bit more, but we'll see how some of the changes down there happen. But we have a long-term development plan for John Tune. When the tornado I mentioned earlier on March 3rd of 2020, it came right through here and destroyed all of this area. Came out of this direction and destroyed all this. We've since rebuilt that, about almost $50 million. The state of Tennessee went in partnership with us, $5 million each, to build a new control tower, and that has allowed us to develop this north area, 10 parcels, 6 different companies are building aircraft hangars out there now. We're about to finally sign the lease for the future FBO. They're going to invest over $60 million with us. We will then get into this midfield and south side for additional development, and eventually we'll go to the west side and probably cut into this hill right here to continue to grow. But that's a quick and dirty on the airport, but I would be glad to answer any questions that you might have for me. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
A few weeks ago, Franklin Special District had a demonstration of its new aerospace program. Senator Dallas was there and everything. What are your thoughts on Franklin Special Schools having this new introduction to aerospace program for ADUs students, and how do you think that will assist non-BKA at the future?
Well, one, I think it's beyond awesome that we offer that. I went to, I lived all over the world, wasn't sure what I wanted to do, thought I wanted to be a forester. Went to Auburn, was out of money, and I met an Air Force recruiter, and he promised me $100 a month if I signed up. It cost me 27 years of my life to do that. Going in the military and flying is a great way to do it, but I wish I would have had that kind of foundation that the special school district and high school and everybody's doing. What you're seeing today, and this is the same for my oldest son, Ryan, he's in airport operations as well in Columbia, South Carolina. But when he was going to school, we couldn't afford the training that you're about to give to your students. And we couldn't afford it to pay for him to learn how to fly to be able to do that. So it's what you're giving everybody a leg up by doing that. And the second thing is, you know that you're going to give them a leg up because the airlines now are trying so hard to recruit pilots that they're basically coming into colleges like MTSU and like Auburn and others, and they're basically giving scholarships to anybody that wants to learn how to fly. You can now get your air transport pilot in college before you would actually get your college degree, and some young folks choose to leave to go fly for the airlines before they even finish their degree. But it's a great opportunity. It's a great leg up. I've seen the articles and the simulators, and I've had the chance to tour the schools. Can't do anything but make future pilots available to the airlines, and I hope they end up flying for one of the 19 airlines that fly with us. Be a really good deal for them. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. You're in charge of who? Dump trucks. I love dump trucks. Dumb questions? Oh, okay. I love dumb questions too. Yeah.
So, going from 27 million to 40 million, I love the airport, by the way. Tony and I are always there. But how is it you don't need another runway, not just a longer runway?
Great question.
How is it that you don't need another runway, not just a longer runway, was the question?
There we go. Okay, so besides being a cool training opportunity for pilots, if people don't want to be pilots, you want to be in data. So if you want to run airports, you got to know data. So we have 3 north-south runways right here. 95% of the time in Tennessee, the winds are out of the north and the south. So we very rarely use this runway. Less than 3% of the time this runway is ever used. We have 4,600 acres that goes down into this area. There is room for a 4th parallel runway. However, we are currently only using these 3 north-south runways at 60% capacity. By the time we get to 80% capacity, which we're trying to calculate, you have to start development of whatever's going to relieve you of that pressure. And so by the time we get to 80% capacity on these 3 north-south runways, we already know where the runway is going to go just off the screen. Down here, at 80%, we'll start designing it. We're advocating for funds and then build it. Hopefully that 4th runway is open before we hit 100% capacity. Oops, sorry. Airports that get 100% capacity and have no way to grow, then that basically you're going to be capped. You're going to be like Reagan National. You can only handle so many jets an hour and so many jets to that facility because you don't have room to make more runways. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So, as the airport continues to grow, one of the other kind of areas is going to be in that people space. So how do you see, as the airport grows exponentially, the workforce in your organization changing? What are some of the pain points that you see, and then how do you foresee handling working with those as large?
How do you handle the people growth and the workforce growth as the airport expands?
Yeah, one of the things I emphasize to our team is we have to take care of ourselves too. We're always trying to take care of the airlines and build for what the airlines need. But as an example, we're doing a few $1 million upgrade to our administration building that we just opened to maximize the number of cubicle spaces as the staff continues to grow. We used to be, when I arrived here in 2012, we had a little over 200 employees. Today we have 550 employees. And it goes through any department, from maintenance to finance to IT, all of that goes on. And then the same thing as it grows inside the terminal, we're always trying to calculate how much food and beverage, how much space we need inside to keep you all happy once you get to the airport. So it's a nonstop battle to be able to do that.
I do see my favorite thing was this express lot, which of course if anyone ever used the express lot up on Mercer Road, we miss it. But hey, it's all good because I took your advice. I was early to pick up my friend, and I went in the garage and I was there for 20 minutes and came out, and it cost me nothing because you have 30 minutes free. once, if you arrive early, so get on the raceway, go on around, pull into a spot, and get out. And then my favorite thing is valet parking at the airport. It's just fantastic, and it's been what, $50 a day. We're parked overnight. It's not that much. 40, not that much more than just day parking for overnight. So I love it. Thank you so much, Doug. We'll have a few minutes afterwards to answer a few questions. Just to make sure, we're going to give you a coaster for your desk so you don't forget us, and a notebook to start trying to balance all those numbers and work on those again, because there's a lot. But thank you, Doug, for being here so much. A lot of information for you. Oops, we'll just get back to where we were. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we are. There we are. So, thank you so much, Doug. Again, volunteer awards Monday, free at the Franklin Theater. Doors open at 5. Then at 6, healthy democracy discussion, April 2nd. We really need your input during that event. 5 to 7. Dinner between 5 and 5:30, 5:30 to 6 at the public library. And we appreciate you being here. Don't forget that we have our Founders Day event on Thursday, and we'd love to see you there. If you want to join us, let me know. Thanks so much, and go out and make it a great day, and a happy St. Patrick's Day. All right.
Thank you.